This is Mr. Bo from MrBoEnglish.com. We've been doing our unit on quadratics, and right now we're in quadratics by taking square roots, solving quadratics by taking square roots this lesson. And last time, you'll remember in last video, we were doing the factored form. So this time we're going to solve by taking square roots. Gets a little bit more math and a little bit less quadratic. I'm sorry, a little bit less parabola in here. So let's go ahead and get started. Where the first video is going to be on quadratics by taking square roots intro, and I will link that down below in the comments. Okay, so let's read our problem. Find the zeros of the function. So that means that when the function is 0, write the smaller solution first and the larger solution second. So our function is g of x is equal to 4x squared minus 484. And we want to know the 0, so we want to know when that is 0. So what's our first step here? I'm going to add a 484 to both sides, and now I've got 484 is equal to 4x squared, and I'm going to rewrite that as 4x squared equals 484, and that's my step 1. Step 2, next step, I want to divide by 4, and that's x squared is equal to 121. Excuse me, 121. And then our next step, step number 3, we're going to take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. And when we do that, we need to remember to take both positive and negative. So x is going to equal 11, because 11 squared is 121. And x is going to equal negative 11, because negative 11 squared is 121. So Khan wants the smaller number here first and the larger number second. Excuse me. Our next question asks solve for x. So this is not a function as an equation in function notation. So we're just going to have a one variable equation here. 2x minus 5 equals 13. 2x squared minus 5 equals 13. Our first step is add 5 on both sides. That means 2x squared is equal to 18. Our next step is divide by 2. That means x squared is equal to 9. So step 1, step 2, and then our step 3 is going to be take the square root of both sides. We'll take the square root of both sides, and we'll have to remember to do positive and negative for that. So x is equal to, what's the square root of 9? 3, and the negative square root of 9 is negative 3. So here smaller x is equal to negative 3, and larger x is equal to 3. Okay. Our next question, find the zeros of the function. Write the smaller solution first and the larger solution second. So our function is f of x is equal to 5x squared minus 20, and we want to find the 0, so we want to know when it is 0. 5x squared minus 20 is equal to 0. And my first step, I'm going to add 20 on both sides. And so I'm going to have 20 is equal to 5x squared. I'm going to change that around and write 5x squared is equal to 20. So that's step 1. Step 2 is divide both sides by 5. And now I've got x squared is equal to 4. And so my step 3 is take the square root, positive, negative, and x is equal to positive square root of 4 is 2, and negative square root of 4 is negative 2. So our smaller x is negative 2, and our larger x is 2. And these numbers are positive and negative pairs, but that doesn't always happen. And I think we're gonna next video we'll show sometimes when that doesn't happen. All right, so our next and last problem, solve for x. So this is not in function notation. Plus 7 equals 43. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. That actually is true if I have an equal there, but I don't want to write it. So that's our step 1. X squared is equal to 36. And then my next step, I'm going to take the square root, remember positive and negative. So this is just 2 steps. Square root of 36, positive square root of 36 is 6. And negative square root of 36 is negative 6. So negative 6 squared is 36. Positive 6 squared is 36. And we'll put those numbers in. Okay, so that Mr. Boy English รับสอนนักเรียนตั้งแต่ป .3 ขึ้นไปทางอินเทอร์เน็ตในสไตล์ EP ครับ ผู้สนใจช่วยติดต่อครูแจงหรือไปเว็บไซต์ที่www.mrboenglish.com